Today is going to be a podcast where I get to interview my friend Maria, who's out from Canada, and she's going to be joining us. And we're going to open up the platform to you're in the East Coast, that's what I thought. We're going to open up the platform for her to hear about her journey, the work she does, and you know, she's created a tarot deck and she's got a new workshop coming through. So I really wanted to hold space and invite her. She's always inviting all of us fabulous mediums who catch her attention, and she's always bringing inspiration and knowledge and just wisdom. You just followed her a few days ago. Yeah, she's so cool. And you know what? Not only is she cool, but she's really kind. She really, truly is a kind person. So when she comes in here, we'll be able to bring her in and we'll have her introduce herself. And I don't want to give too much away, but her heart is just so big for collective and community. It really is. And I think it's kind of cool that we get to bring her in today. So if you guys don't follow her, when she comes in, give her a follow. And she created her own tarot deck, which is on Amazon. I tried to order it, but it would not have got here in time. But she has an actual book. Hi, Natalia. She has a book also that breaks down how to read the tarot. So it's a workbook, and she has also a deck. So nice to have you in here, gorgeous. And then she's going to read. I'm not very good when it comes to tarot. I have my tarot deck, but I'm going to just kind of follow her lead and let her do the tarot part. But I have a tarot deck. How many in here love tarot? Hi, Bella. How are you? I had a question about tarot too. How many of you like tarot, Sandy? You like it? You do? Good. And you? I'm good, thank you. You know, I always found, like, I have taken so many workshops to study tarot, right? And then I listened to a really cool gentleman. His name is Colin Bates, okay? And Colin Bates teaches tarot too. And I sat there and I was fascinated by the journey. Hi, gorgeous.
Hello.
Hi, you're off camera. So you guys, look who's here. Hi, gorgeous.
Hi, how are you? Oh my God, I have so much energy. Hi, everybody.
You guys are in for a treat. I was just talking about the journey of tarot, you know, and how I was asking people how, you know, if they like tarot, do they love, you know, their thoughts on it. And tarot and me, like, it's so interesting. I don't know tarot like you know tarot, so I'm gonna leave leave it for the professionals when it comes to Maria, because this is her profession, you know. And she's a creator of her own tarot deck. So first and foremost, welcome Maria to Inspire. Woo!
Yay! Hi, everybody. I'm super, super excited to be here.
Yes.
It's like,
oh, but now we lost her. Oh my God. Okay, she's back, yo. What?
my camera screen went all dark and I was like, what's happening? So now I can see everybody and everything's bright. Because I love sunshine. We need more sunshine in our life. We really do.
Well, you're in Canada. Is it not warm where you are today?
It is. So this is the thing with Canada, which I love. It's so cold in the winter. We're inside the house with the heat. Then comes the summer. So we get all excited. Oh my goodness, it's summer and sunshine. And then it's so hot and muggy outside. We're back inside the house again.
Yeah, it's
hence the muggy sweater. Yeah. Because I have the air conditioner on.
Girl, at least you have AC. I have no AC right now. I'm just like, I'm melting. But first off, Maria, are you okay? You got a lot of peekaboos. Annette says peekaboo. Sandy Cheek says ¿Qué pasó? You guys, and we have Zoe Dobie here from the UK also. Hey girl, what you doing up? I love that. So
I love that they're up. It's good to be up.
Yeah. So, and Christina Marie is saying, hey ladies. So,
hi Annette. Hi Christina.
Maria.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So if it is 7, what is it, like 2 in the morning in the UK?
Is it?
It's 5 hours ahead.
It's probably around there. I'm just chilling in bed. What time is it, Zoe?
It's midnight.
And Zoe Dobie is an amazing psychic medium. 12. It's 12 for her.
Yes, 12.
Yeah, and
12:05.
Carol's in here too. And she's from the UK, I believe. We got a lot of UK people today. That's what's up.
Yeah, they're up. I love that they're up.
Maria, it's an honor to have you on the show today. I know this is going to be different because we're on TikTok and we wanted to do the live on TikTok. I feel like this is a new platform for me, and I've seen you go out there and do your thing with Craig and Michael, and I think I love what you're doing, and I just want people to get to know who you are. So if you don't
Thank
mind
you.
introducing yourself.
Oh, absolutely. So, hey, everybody. My name is Maria Gonçalves. So I'm a Portuguese medium because a lot of people think I'm Spanish speaking.
Yes.
So I'm like a Portuguese. And I offer mediumship readings in English and Portuguese, tarot readings, English, Portuguese. And then I fell in love with tarot quite by accident, to be quite honest. Because I ended up hurting my back and getting mediumship abilities. Because I never, ever, ever, ever in a million trillion years wanted to be a medium. And coming from a strong Catholic background, I didn't know what this was. Like, we have a priest, and my mom has famous priests in the family that's passed away, and my dad had 2 nuns on his side of the family. So I came from that kind of Catholic family.
Hey,
So strict Catholic. I didn't know what mediumship was, tarot was. In Portugal, they called mediums bruxa. So it was like evil, the spells, they're going to get you. So I was like, ah! So I was very scared. And then because I'd hurt my back, I ended up with mediumship abilities. So I could see, hear, feel spirit. Like I saw spirit like I saw you. So I was actually really scared. And I could hear spirit, like I hear your voice. I remember I'd have moments where I could feel spirit walk through me. And I know there's this, that can't happen. It did. It happened to me. Might not happen to you, but it happened to me in the beginning because I was so open and I had no idea how to control my abilities. So then what I actually did, because I was actually having a lot of bad reactions to medication for pain management, I couldn't handle it. I was allergic to a lot of stuff. I ended up getting into meditation, and I love meditation. I went on this journey of discovering different types of meditation. And I fell in love with mindfulness meditation. 1, because I think it's fantastic. 2, because it actually calms your nervous system, because it makes you present, right? It gets you in the space of gratitude and appreciating what's happening in your life in this moment. You're not worried about the future or the past, because I had a lot of worry. I had a lot of fear going on. So mindfulness was good. Then I became a Reiki practitioner because somebody had told me, oh, that'll help with the pain. And then as spirit kept coming through, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to talk to you. They'd be like, you have to pass messages. So then one of my friends went to get a tarot reading through this like elderly lady in our city. She was a Jewish lady. She's so sweet. She was like in her 80s or 90s. Aww. And he's like, oh, she teaches tarot. So I walk in. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Because my whole thing is, if you think the cards are talking to you, I can hide that I'm a medium and I'm in disguise. I'm just a psychic.
Yeah.
So it's all about hiding. I got a lot of fear going on. So I get there and I was like, she's like, did you buy a tarot deck? I was like, yes, I'm super excited. I got my tarot deck. And then she's like, can I see the book? Does it come with the book? I go, yes, it comes with the book. So I hand her the book and she looks at the book. She goes, this is a great book. I go, I know, I'm so excited to learn from the book and learn from you. And then she threw my book in the garbage. And I was like, what are you doing? My book! It goes in the garbage. It's like, you are going to develop your gifts. We are not reading from a book. We are not memorizing from readings. You are going to learn to trust your intuition, tap into your clairs, and open up your gifts. And I know you're scared, but I got your back. So I studied with her for 5 days, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, every single day. And the rest is history. But that's how it started.
Oh my God, Maria, thank you, one, for sharing that with us, right? And I think oftentimes when we take that journey within for meditation, for that calmness, and you are going through your healing journey physically, right? And
Yeah.
then breathing, I kind of remember where I was not feeling good. And many of us probably listening right now, we've all taken that journey within for reasons of prayer, meditation, and mindfulness. And then here you come, and now you're a brushka. So, and these words and these labels, these labels that are out there, I just get this, sometimes that energy comes with that fear factor. And then here you are, just this loving person, seeing me as a spirit, that you're processing energy at the same time, like, whoa, are you alive? Are you just like the sixth sense, right? Are you here or you're not? So your poor mind was probably processing so much at one time. So
For
now
years.
I was going to ask, how long did it take for you to hone in on the energy to realize, okay, I'm in acceptance of what I'm witnessing and what I'm seeing and observing as your clairs have been ignited?
I'm going to say first 15 years were rough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were rough. And then the last 10 years, I started learning more, going online. Then when COVID happened, and just meeting other incredible teachers and mentors, and then also giving myself permission to be like, I don't want to study with anybody anymore. I have more than enough information. Because I self-studied, I think, like last year. And it's just like, I got to figure out who I am as a medium, because I noticed what was happening within my readings. I could hear my teachers in my voice. I was like, I don't like that. I got to sound like me. I got to find my own way. But it did take a while to get out of that fear. And because too, and I just did a podcast interview with Michael about like myths, Michael Christopher, with myths and mediumship. And one of the things I was sharing with him was, I didn't know you couldn't be open. Like, I didn't know nothing.
I heard you say that yesterday, how you guys were talking about the opening and closing. And everyone has a different preference on how they work with energy. And I was reminded today, so Spirit always gives us those little insights before we start something, right, with them, and we work with them. But we also have to be aware that it's also psychic energy, not just the spirit world. So some of us can be very psychic and also feel into the psychic energies, and we're thinking that it's an actual spirit, right? And so when you learned how to open and close, what happened to you in the physical plane? Like, what started changing for you?
So with that, I'm going to be honest, I only learned that a couple of years ago, like in the last 10 years, maybe less. When COVID happened, we went online and people were talking about sitting in the power. And I was like, what is that? What are you people doing sitting in the power? Because until then I was doing mindful meditation, and I was exploring different types of meditation, like goddess meditation. Like, I just wanted to have fun with every type of meditation. And meditation doesn't have a timeline. It's not sit down 20 minutes for connecting with spirit. It's sit down, focus on your breath, and relax, and whatever happens, happens. So the intention was all in mindfulness is to relax, right? So that was my intention there. So probably, when did COVID happen? I don't know, 6-7 years ago. I can't remember.
Years ago.
And then I heard people talking about control your energy. And I was like, what? What are you people talking about?
Yeah, what is that? What is
this?
It's just like,
I'm open.
Can you control yourself, Maria? Your energy's too much, girl. Like, really? That would be fighting words for me. I'd be like, what?
I didn't know what that meant. People were like, yes. And then it was like open and close. I'm like, open and close who? What? What am I opening and closing? So like the language was weird. Because I had done like a couple of meetups around here. You know, you go on meetup and you're like, oh, but when I hurt my back, I went on meetup with a friend. And to be honest, it's like 20. So I was 30. I'm 55. You guys figure out the math. I don't know the math. But back then, you didn't talk about mediumship. It was like talking about voodoo and evil spirits. And like, we did this in secrecy. She's like, let's sign up for, a mediumship course. I went there to figure out how to make it go away, not to develop. I want to know what's the secret the medium does to get rid of them. But I only met scary mediums, and that didn't do well. But yeah, so like 10 years ago, whenever COVID happened, I went online, I met other mediums, and they're like, open and close your energy. And I was like, what? And then it was sitting in the power. And it was when I was doing sitting in the power and the opening and the closing. And it was like, really feel your energy. And I was like, oh. And then when I figured that out, I was actually able to turn it off for the first time. First of all, I never knew you had to turn it off because I was on. There was no one around me saying, oh, you're on too much. And I remember even the mediums around here, like, I really feel like we didn't know anything back in the day. It was like, people with no education leading other people with no education.
I think what happens too, and you touched on this, is coming from such a strong religious background, and you're in prayer, and you're working with family who come from that Catholic background, right? And not only that, but then you're working through your physical being, and you're looking for solace. You're not looking for the spirit world, and this is such a big thing for many people who don't get training or who don't have the opportunity to find people who may resonate with them, and so. Like you, there are many people who are saying, make it stop. But they don't realize, like, there is a connection when you go within, whether it's colors or shapes or just starting to feel more intensely, and you're attuned to it so to everything, right? And so there's that process and there's that growth. And you eventually either learn to ground it, calm it, or you freak out and you're like, oh my gosh, what is that? What am I seeing? And I think this is a very normal process. We all go through these stages, and with the grace of God that we, I would say, ask for spirit to bring the right person to help hold that link or space for you, right? I taught open, close, but very transparent. I'm just open. I'm so used to energy, and I don't feel spirit coming in with me. Like, I'm just, because I've been doing it for so long that I'm so just used to being in that line of energy,
Yeah.
How do you feel when you're open? Is it different now that you close and you open? So I want to know, inquiring minds want to know.
I never thought of it that way. I think it depends. It depends on, well, for psychic, I am that person. I need to know everything about myself. So I'm open always to myself and psychic information, always for myself, not for other people. Unless you're booked a session, I'm not tuning into you. I don't care. It's your life.
I heard you say that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to know, maybe it's a Scorpio in me. I need to know everything about my life. And if I ask a question, I get an answer, and it happens. It's true. Or they don't tell me anything, which is true too, because they're like, it's none of your business right now. It's like, oh, but, yeah. And then within mediumship, I do have the open and the close. I do. And then what I notice, it makes me a little bit more sane, because when I was open all the time, and it's so weird because I interview so many different mediums, and I love to ask them, how does the mediumship work? Like the behind the scenes, how does that actually work for you? But I can hear clear voices.
Yeah.
Like I hear it clearly anytime. I'm not trying to figure out what the word, like I hear the words clearly. And then, before I used to open and close, I would just make myself so tired. Like I would keep busy to the point that I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
That I would fall asleep and be like, you can't talk to me because I'm sleeping now. Because I'm so exhausted from you talking to me all the time, sending me signs. So for my mental health, to keep me sane, I like the open and close. Every once in a while they get in, and it's almost like if it's important, step in because I need to know. Because again, I need to know everything about my life. So if it pertains to me, tell me. But I like the open and close. It's like I'm not hanging out with you. But if I'm out in the backyard or I'm just sitting, then I'm open to spirit, because those are the quiet moments that they get to us.
Right. I agree. And I think, and I love what you've said multiple times is, if it's pertained to me, I want to know. And I think that's also us getting the insight. If we're our energy is being pulled on, or I know when my energy is being shifted with other energies. And that's where it's so important to know thyself, right? When that energy happens for you on that psychic level. And I love what you're bringing forward here, because you got a lot of great people that are in here saying, I feel like that too. I never close. So that's important. You know, some people find, and you use the word for mental health, right? And then you use the word tired. And I want to kind of give this thought process a perspective.
Yeah.
The last way I was taught when it came to inspiration or psychic readings within the last 2 years was allow spirit to bring the psychic information and allow them to bring the inspiration. So you have the spirit world and you're utilizing their energy, not our own. And I find if we're more in the psychic, we're more tired. And if we're in the mediumship, for me, I don't feel tired. I feel like I'm like you when you popped in here, like, oh my God, I'm full of energy. Let's go. And people wonder, like, girl, do you get tired? I'm like, no, girl.
No.
If anything, if I get tired, it's like if I'm on my feet all day and I'm walking around and I'm going from booth to booth then I'm tired in the heat, but not from the spirit work. I don't get tired. Yeah. So when you sat and you were going through your journey and you created this deck, and your teacher for 5 days said, Maria, you're going to create each meaning to each card. What started happening to you when you were in that state of creation?
So this is what I find when you hang out with a teacher, and she was an extremely strong psychic. My mediumship abilities even opened up more, to the point that I remember leaving her. She's like, Maria, you parked your car outside. You better get going, because the parking person's going to come give you a ticket. And they're about 2 blocks away from your car. I was like, what? Ah! So I run outside, and oh my God, there's the person about to give me a ticket. And I ran my car, so I didn't get my ticket. But then I was way too open when I started it, because she wasn't really somebody that was like, let's open and close. It was like, let's tune in it and be open all the time. Yeah. So then the next day when I went to see her, I go, I can't handle this. Like, I am crying. I am angry. I am sad. I am everything. As I walk down the street, I am feeling everybody. I can pick up, like, this is happening in your life. That's happening in your life. I was like, this is too much. It's like, okay, let's ground. Let's just breathe and center your breath. So she had to teach me that, because I think this is what happens, and correct me if I'm wrong here. I think sometimes what happens when we become teachers and we teach people, we forget, like, they're going through the basics. So she just assumed I knew. You open, you close, you detach, you cut cords. And I was like, what? Right. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's very true. And I think this goes back for us as teachers, okay? And I think and also for you guys that are looking for teachers, I would love to put this out there. And Maria, you please add to it. We offer workshops, we offer programs, mentorship, and yes, we can go from spirit world back down and go back up again. And sometimes we can miss those basics. And if you miss those basic classes or courses, then you're like a fish out of water. And then when you hear it again, then you're like, oh, that's what I'm missing. So it's really look at the detail of what's being taught. And what is it that you're needing, and reflect and sit with it before you register. And if you feel called, not because it sounds cool, not because, oh my God, this is going to be awesome, I'm going to sit with Maria and I get to pick her brain. It's like, really, what is it that's being offered in the moment? And is it a need of learning? And then let spirit come to you and work with you if it feels good. And then don't be afraid to ask, like express, like Maria was saying, oh my God, this is too much. I truly believe many of us are tuned in so many different ways that what for you may be very sensitive to energy, for another person, like, oh, this is nothing. I don't feel nothing. You know how, like, I don't see nothing. I don't feel nothing. I don't know what this lady's talking about. I don't even see no colors. What is she seeing? Like, we're not there yet. So there's many different stages that we go through. And I agree with you, Maria. I do feel that sometimes we just sit in that and hope that they know it, and we go with the teaching. And so each teaching is always different. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I wanted to add? Because I've noticed this for myself, because obviously I can only speak from my experiences,
Yeah.
but I've, over the years where I've taken a course here and there, and I've heard like you should have boundaries, but it didn't register. I didn't really get it. And then years later be like, oh, now I get it. But back then it wasn't like, I just didn't get it. I wasn't ready to get it. Does that make sense?
I think and I agree with you, it does make perfect sense because we're in this state of energy and spirit is so intelligent. And I say intelligent because yesterday I had a person jump in on TikTok and they were saying, ever since I connected to you, and now I'm just open. And I want to talk about this vessel that we are. And I want to talk about when we do come, and you said it in such a beautiful way. When you sit with someone who's open, they're truly holding space for you. And I had an opportunity to sit with a mentor where I had a question. She did not give me the answer. Because of her Wi-Fi, her connection to the spirit world, her being next to me, I was able to tap into it for myself and fill into that. The more people that you're connected to on a psychic or mediumship level, when we call the power, when you're in the power, the energy builds and your Wi-Fi amplifies. And so the connection to the spirit world elevates you. And so that's why we feel so awesome and we're in the power and we come out and we can read and everything is like aligned and like boom, boom, fire, fire. And then you come out and you're like, oh my God, what happened? Where's my link? Where's the energies? So there's
I love it.
Such a gift to be around, an honor to be around and communicate with people who are like you, who are
thank you. You too.
Yeah, like all of you guys come together, even in the lives, when you're in these lives, like Janice is in here, Jess is in here, David Capardi's in here. We have a room full of amazing mediums, and this is awesome, you guys. Follow Maria. And I say this because we all have different belief systems. We all learn from different perspectives. And this is truly the beauty of having awareness and changing and shifting. If that, like, oh man, I know what that feels like. Oh, let me feel into that. And that's the beauty of the dance, working together in this silver cord that we are linked in. And Maria, as I say that, what inspires you, or what has inspired you to come into TikTok and to say, I'm going to do this?
Star Rodriguez. She's like, you're going to get on TikTok. I was like, you are never going to see me on TikTok. And then my friend, who's a gifted medium here, and she's like, you got to get on TikTok. So here I am. And I love the community here, the mediums that we know and that I continue to meet on TikTok because I get to watch them do live readings. And I love the groundedness. And I think too, as we do on this journey, for myself, like these are my belief systems today, right? And in 6 months, they may change. In a year, they may change because we're forever growing, forever having different experiences, right, Debbie?
I agree. I go back and I hear some of the interviews and I'm just like, whoa, my mindset is not there anymore. Like, wow, what a change. And where my belief system has evolved. And so I love that you say that. So for the babies, Maria, that are in here, and they're listening and they're learning from you and they're listening to your inspiration or the wisdom that you bring forward, how what would you like to offer them a word of advice as they step in to our journey that we have taken to, as mediums?
I think trust yourself. First of all, you are safe. I think one of my biggest pet peeves, this is me, is and it breaks my heart when I hear people say, I'm not intuitive. She is, he is. I'm not good enough to be intuitive. Well, guess what? That's why I'm so passionate about tarot and psychic, because it's that whole thing of your gut feeling. Everybody has a gut feeling. It either feels good or it feels bad. And your body communicates that to you somehow. And when people tap into their psychic, it opens them up more and it empowers them. It doesn't mean your problems from your life disappears. It just means you lead a more aligned life. So Spirit's like, heads up, you got some trouble. We're going to have a challenge today. You'd be like, okay, I'm not going to go in freaking out. I'm going to go in being like, okay, I got a challenge today. And my perspective will be different on how I deal with the issue. Sorry, somebody dropped something upstairs.
Cool. That's a sign from Spirit. Pay attention, y'all. Y'all listening to this.
Pay attention. And I think too with mediumship, because I'm really about the basics and the grounding and the beginning person. Yes. Because even within mediumship, you don't need us to connect to your loved ones. You can talk to them and they hear you and they're around you all the time. So like even when I do like mediumship readings and you'll have your client there, your sitter, and all they want to do is tell my loved one, I miss them, tell them I did this. And I'm like, they can hear you. You don't need me.
Oh my God. And I think that's a big one, not only for those who are taking this journey, for anyone who's not a medium and they're in grief and they're looking to connect and find ways to make that connection to the spirit world. That is a big one, Maria, where a gentle I love you is felt and heard in seconds from my experience. When you get that telepathic connection, right? And then you're hearing and you're feeling the sitter's energy and you're feeling the spirit's energy. They know it within that minute, within that second. So we, yes, can validate, but this is so aligned. And I got to take a beautiful workshop yesterday, and it was the question they had us ask: what do we use that we cannot see? Right? What do we use that we cannot see? So it was oxygen, breath, the wind, and I said Wi-Fi. And that's the same. We believe and we need that oxygen. We need that breath, right? And we don't see the spirit, but where's your belief in that? Can you believe that conversation is going? There's so much faith in what we receive as mediums when we're connecting to the spirit world. And there's so much trust that we are tapping into, to trust that it is a link and to believe and feel into what we feel into that is meant for the person that is asking for that message. So let's pause here for a second, Maria, and let's go to the beautiful audience that's listening in. For those that are just joining, welcome David Drummond from the UK. Welcome. Hey, Maria. Look at Maria's like, hello, everybody. So you guys, if you don't follow Maria, she's out in Canada doing amazing things for the spirit world, has created some amazing decks. Do you have your deck with you, Maria?
I do. My deck is right there. It's not available for sale yet, maybe by the end of the year. This was actually a healing journey for me because it's got memories of Europe in here. So that's why it's called the Europe Tarot. So I have printing issues with the printer. So I have to go back with the designer and the printer to do deck number 2 to fix that.
I saw a workbook though on Amazon, Maria. So there's a workbook on Amazon.
There's 2. There is this one, the Intuitive Tarot Workbook. I use this with my tarot students. I went back and because I had one I created 5 years ago, and I went back and went deeper with this book. So this is what the book looks like. And so we go card by card and we go through everything. And even within tarot, what people don't realize is there's shadow work in tarot.
Oh my God, it is. And that was my question. I was inspired to ask, why at times does when you're getting readings and some people are fearful of tarot because they feel of the shadow, there's a little bit of a denser energy. Why do you think that is, Maria?
I think with the card, that's us. We put that there. Because what I do with my students, because I know clients, they've already got this perceived, oh my goodness, you're going to predict death and tell me when everybody's going to die in my family. No, we're not doing that. That death card is the transformation. This is a good card. And then with, even with my students, as we're learning the tarot, we go through tarot and we have one exercise and I go, I want you to go through that deck and pick a card you don't like. Pick a card that you are having a reaction of, ew, oh, I'm scared, the image, the whatever. Sit and meditate. What is the message there? And a lot of them come out and there's tears. And, I let them sit with that card like for 20 minutes. We're all meditating. And then after, you're writing down the messages you got from the card. And they're like, that was so powerful and healing. And then the next time they go to do a tarot reading or use that card, they don't see it that way anymore because now they've seen the healing in that card.
I agree. I think when I first started and I got my first tarot read, and you get those tower moments and those like the deep card of transformation. I'm like, ay, Dios mío, what is that? And it's really sitting with the ego, right? You're having that ego death, and you're like, however you perceive it. And obviously for me, I've gone through some ego deaths, like I went down the tower. But
I live the tower.
When I do that tower, like I'll be going down the slide like, hey, let's go. Now I'm like, break that up. Let's change it up, But back then I would have been scared, Maria. I would have been back in the day. I would be like, what is happening? What's coming into my future? So how many of you guys do that?
What cards are you guys scared of?
Yeah, that's a great question. Debbie O is throwing some cartwheels in. What cards are you afraid of? I got to sit with a friend and the tarot class, and I got to learn the tarot with him. And the journey of the Fool is really new beginnings. It really is that journey. And so when you hear the word Fool, you're like, oh, what a fool. That sounds like bad, but it's really the beginning of a new journey, and I was listening to it. So let's see what Tara is saying here. The cool Nana, good afternoon. Oh, they're saying good afternoon to each other. Oh, hi, Soul. Thank you so much for being here. Tower. So Love says the tower scares her. Tarot. David is saying tarot is really good if you read them by intuition. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what Maria does.
Yeah.
Maria does that. The 10 of Swords, Jesse puts.
The 10 of Swords scares you, but that's an ending. That's an ending. So what happens after an ending? Only good things can come now.
New beginnings. That's
good. But I think it's the artwork. Remember, the artwork's from the 1500s. It's a little bit scary.
So this is the deck I have, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the deck I use. And then low key, I got the deck where they had the answers on it. So when I did not know tarot, I had to get the one to read of the meaning. But I was like, let me just kind of tap into what I pick up or what I get, right? What I feel from it. And I've done that with everything. So I love that you talked about going into each card and what it means for you. I think there's so much beauty in that.
There is. I know when I do teach the traditional meaning because I think it's important for people to understand how did they come up with this? And I teach from the Rider-Waite deck, which is the traditional deck, because I feel like that's your training wheels. Because once you learn from the Rider-Waite deck, you can pick up any card because it's got the basic colors, right? And the basic pictures. So I teach the basic meanings, and then I'm like, but now I want your intuition to go in there. And now what is happening?
There's the King of Pentacles.
Ooh, I love it. And then what I've also done with my students to help people not be afraid of certain cards, like the Tower card. What's a different word you can give the Tower card that it doesn't feel scary to you? So I call it the Truth card because truths come out.
Yeah.
When you are having Tower moments,
yes,
the truths are revealed.
I love that though when that happens. I've asked, I love to stand in truth. Okay, I was actually very mindful of when you go through things in life, right? It's to let it unfold and let spirit lead and let everything come to light. And I think we just went through that in the cosmic order. We went through karma, where karma was, the truth was being revealed during the time of the planets and shifts. So I just sit back and spirit will let you see. Spirit will give you the gift to see the truth. And I think that's a beautiful gift. So I love that you say that, Maria.
Yeah, just name the card something that's comfortable for you, that doesn't feel intimidating, resonates with you. Because I have students that have changed the name of some of the cards for themselves because they're like, I don't like the word tower. That scares me. And then that's just inner healing they have to do for themselves, right? Why does that word scare you so much?
You know what I did? I took a beautiful class with a lady named Holly, and I don't know if she's in here, but she does numerology. And when
Oh,
I
I
took
love that.
numerology, it went really hand by hand with tarot and numerology because of the numbers and kind of like it felt very similar to me. And not that
Yeah.
I'll remember everything she taught me, but I learned so much, when it came down to numerology and how the numbers play and how they're a factor. And then you're breaking down the tarot. So let's see. The deck, that is the deck we have, and it works really well, David says.
Yeah.
Now, does anybody have any questions for Maria? Like, this would be a great time for those that are joining. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, we appreciate you. And I hope this is giving you a different insight of tarot and a different insight, a perspective, how to look at the energies and the pictures, because they're old school. And that's why Maria has her new deck where they're more a little different. I feel like there's a lot of love in there, right?
There's a
Tower,
lot of love in there. And it's
Tower,
it's relatable to everyday life.
yes.
Power equals redirection. Oh, I like that. See, once you change the name, there's a vibration in words.
Mm-hmm. Now, Sandy Cheeks asks, when is the class, Maria, that you're going to start offering?
So the class starts in September. So I'm doing Monday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is recorded. And it's Monday. I think it's September 14. So Monday, September 14. So it's recorded. If you miss a class, you'll get copies of the recorded classes.
Now, where can they register to join your class?
They could just go over to my website and register there. And, the one thing I do love about this conversation is because there is a difference between tarot and oracle. And I know people get scared with, tarot, there are so many cards. But you know what I love about tarot? Tarot, there's a story. And the story is your life. And what a more beautiful story to go explore within the tarot and to help you, give you insight. So what happened with me in the beginning, I used the tarot cards when I was learning. And then as I go about, how many weeks is the course? I don't remember it. It ends sometime in December. I don't remember the date.
So September till December, Sandy, you'll be working quite a bit. And Maria's a very heart-centered teacher. A deck has its own personality. Absolutely. I think so does the person that's holding the deck.
It's true. And you know what I love about teaching the tarot, because I make it very, I had a student, she's like, I didn't realize we were going to share so much and talk so much in this class. Because my thing is, yes, I am the teacher and I'm sharing my perspective, but you guys are all so amazing and you come with different perspectives for those cards. So I get everybody to share. It's like, well, this is what it traditionally means. Intuitively, what are we going to get? This is how it feels to me. And then I go around, I'm like, how does the card feel to you? And then I find, because I do a lot of sharing every week. So we are sharing our experiences. And then it just opens your mind. And then another student will be like, oh, I never even thought of it that way. Oh, did you see this over here? Oh, this image reminds me of this. And the conversation start and your psychic abilities and your intuition just open up. And then as we get back together each week, I always ask them, how was your week? And they're like, you're not going to believe it. I was going to do this. And then intuitively, I got a message from spirit to do that, because now your guides are like, woohoo, they're listening. Yes. They're open. Let's talk.
Now, Maria, I used to see a lady way back then, and she used to wrap them in a red cloth. So what is the proper care that you would advise or recommend for someone who is holding their tarot?
Oh, I love that question, because I had to go on a journey of why do we need to wrap things up or put it? Mm-hmm. So for me, I got this from the dollar store. It's a little baggie. Yeah, I got it at the dollar store for $1, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that I bought this. So the whole thing about the cloth is we all set intentions. And as we walk about our day, we have thoughts and intentions, and we're throwing stuff out to the universe all the time. So your cards are sacred. Like for me, I have a lot of cards. I probably have over 100 tarot and oracle affirmation cards, right?
Yeah.
But I will always, 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 always go back to the original cards that I learned from. Like I still have them. I still use them. And the thing is, if it's in a cloth, it doesn't matter if it's in a cloth. What you don't want is your cards open, sitting out on your coffee table with your whole family coming over, friends, everybody touching them, people going, ew, that's icky, that's this, that's that, or having different ideas or thoughts, because thoughts are intentions and that's energy. And this is sacred if you're working with it. I used to have a basket with cards that I would have out for family and friends to play around with and little kids, because I had like kid tarot cards that were specifically for kids and angel cards. That was different because the intention of those cards were for play.
Yes.
But when you have a deck that you are reading from for yourself or for other people, you don't want everybody's energy around. So you don't want them laying around. You want to cover them up with something that's special and sacred to you. It could be cloth, any color you want. It doesn't matter. I don't recommend see-through, because I remember my teacher saying see-through, then they see it and then they can put that ick energy on it, which you don't want, right? Put it in a box, put it anywhere, but I feel like it should be sacred, put away for you, not for the whole world to use.
No, it's true, because you can have visitors that don't agree with how you work with energy, whether for them it's new, and so we're accustomed to the energies, we're used to it, we know what we're working with, we know that it's not negative, like it's not a negative thing, but it can be perceived negative, and that goes back to Busha,
Yes.
So, yeah. And so there's a thoughts out there, and there's a whole different perspective on touching cards, and it took me a long time to work with cards, because I was given that, like, oh, cards are bad, and I remember getting my first reading, and she's like, Debbie, I see you working with cards. And I was like, oh, that did not resonate with me, because I don't even own a deck. And my girlfriend from Jersey just sent me like 5 decks in the mail. And I was like, well, look at that. I'm working with cards. And so, it's so true, Maria, because you never know what another mindset is throwing at you when they don't have the same belief system. So there's a little bit of that heavier energy, like, oh, So it's true.
Yeah, you don't want it out. You want it in your sacred room, your reading room, and put things in there that you love, that feel good. Like I have this room. I don't have people in this room. I am the only one in this room. I meditate in this room. I do readings in this room. I teach in this room. So I built up the energy in this room. So everything that's in here is sacred to me. If I have cards and people want to play with some cards, I have decks that I put out for friends and family to play around with and choose cards. But that's the intent. And I always set the intention with everything, because I think our thoughts are so powerful. And my intention for my cards, when I put it out for family and friends to use when they come over, it's like, it's for fun.
It's so true.
I put the decks that are for fun. I'm not doing,
go ahead.
Sorry. And I'm not doing readings for, like, I do not do readings for family or friends either. So it's like pull a card, read the book, because some of them have little booklets, but that's one of my things. I know everybody's different. I personally will not do readings for family and friends. I used to. And then they don't like what you say. So I learned the hard way. Don't do it.
Yeah, you will always have, I think that's with a grain of salt, right? I find myself reading family, and it's been interesting to channel my loved ones for my loved ones the living, but I'm honoring it right now. But I understand wholeheartedly what you're saying. There's only there's a line that I'll be like, oh, sorry, here you go. Call this person. They'll talk to you.
Yes.
I love that we have so many friends in this work that we do. Now, the other thing is, why do they awaken the deck? Why do they knock and like, wake up, hello, we're going to work. Like, is there a certain way that you start to awaken your deck before a read, and close it? Oh, wait, look at that. I saw Greg Bakken just pop in here. Everybody give Greg Bakken a follow. Let's get this man some follows as he just kind of sneaked in quietly there. So
I love it.
His face popped in such a beautiful way. And so, Maria, do you open your deck a certain way, like when you are working?
So with my deck, I don't knock on it. I remember in the beginning, people were like, knock on it. You gotta knock.
Clear.
And I was like, why am I knocking on it? Yeah. And then it was like, you can clear your deck, but only knock on it 3 times. Like I heard it all. And then what I came to the conclusion is we all do different things to set up and shift our mind to the spirit world to psychic. So I don't knock, but if people want to knock on it. What I do is I always set an intention over the reading and I do a little prayer.
Okay, perfect. And so any questions, anyone else while we're in here with Maria? She's so cool and sharing her insight. I love when you were talking about how you put those tarots for your family and friends. It reminded me going into the crystal shop and they have like a basket of little cards and you pick them.
That's what I had.
That's what I saw. I was like, oh, let me get a little card. I
did have that because I think it's important to make it not feel so woo-woo. It's like, oh, I'm going to my aunt's house and you know what? She's got cards everywhere. And it just became like a normal thing. It wasn't like, ooh, it's the Bruce's house. It's the scary person's house. It's just like, I'm going to pick some angel cards today.
Yeah. And now that time has passed while we're waiting for questions and time has passed, how do you feel now as a psychic medium in your power and you honor your journey of where you are today?
I feel good. I really feel good. I know it was quite a journey because I feel like even within my journey, within mediumship and tarot, I noticed there was this weird thing that would happen in the beginning of my journey when I would tell people I'm a tarot reader and I would hear, ooh, you need cards. I don't need cards. And it was weird. I got that a lot. And I was like, what's wrong with you? So for those of you, if you're experiencing that, there is nothing wrong with cards. I love the artwork. I'm so in love with the artwork. I love the history of the cards. And there's so many beautiful artists around the world that have interpreted the artwork into this beauty. So I encourage people to, open up your psychic gifts, open up your mediumship gifts, whatever feels right. And just remember, one is not better than another.
Amen to that. Thank you, Maria, for saying that. And I think that's another thing that happens when we evolve and we're going through different parts of our journey. 1 second here. TikTok had me do a little like, yeah, we're real. We're still alive. I was like, interesting. I think this, what you're saying here, and depending on where all of you are in your journey, honor it for you, not where anyone else is at in their journey. How you're called to work with the energies is what you're being led to do. It evolves, it grows, it changes in so many forms, and there's not one wrong way to do it. How you pray, how you connect. I think this is a beautiful reminder, Maria. And Maria's giving you an example of what happens when someone says, ooh, you're doing cards. And that's something that still stayed with her to say, like, wait a minute, no, we're still, I'm going to use them. Look at the beauty of the art. Look at the creator that, created this beautiful piece of art. So I love that you say that because it's a gentle reminder for wherever you are in your journey. Honor it. Don't compare and be kind, have that kindness that comes with the work, because Maria, you also started your journey with surgery or, something with your back. You were working through healing, and everyone takes the journey within for different reasons, whether it's working through something on a physical level, emotional, mental, psychic. Everyone has a different reason, and that reason is a journey, just like the tarot. And I think when we pause, we honor the pause and we evolve again. And this is why it's so important to remember, Maria kept saying, thoughts and words have a vibration and they hold form. And so we also have thoughts, and we also go through 70 thoughts a day, and just allow that to be forgiven, even if some of them were not clear, because we're still moving through the journey. And that's why we have that tower or that change or that transformation. So give yourself grace.
I agree. I think too, a reminder to people, like the tarot and the oracle cards, is a human being that created it. And I love learning about their story. Like what was their story to create this artwork? What happened in their life? Like for me with my Euro tarot cards, it was a healing journey after the passing of my dad.
Yeah.
Like that's how I got on this. And it's a very sentimental deck. But now it's so weird because the printing was off and I was like, oh, I have to go back in. I have to fix some things, which is fine. I'll fix it. But it was always about, I feel like the foundation of my life is healing. Like we always go back to heal. Readings are healing for our soul to help us give the courage to do the next step in our life.
Right.
Reiki, energy healing, mediumship reading, psychic readings, tarot readings, use cards, don't use cards, use crystals, don't use crystals. Use what works well for you and feel good about it for you, because then that multiplies. And as long as the intention is always to empower people and leave people better than you found them, you're doing fantastic. I want to be your friend.
I agree. I think when you broke it down in that way, it truly is what happens to us. How many of you all started with, have you ever heard of like, oh my God, crystals are bad. She's one of those that my husband used to say, she's praying to the crystals. I'm like, I'm not praying to the crystals. You know, the perception of it. They hold a vibration. There's a beautiful frequency. There's different stages in this awakening that we can go into drumming and sound healing. And, you know, we go into prayer, groups, circles, practice. And I think there's so much unfoldment in that. And I love what you're saying here is just be a good person, have a good outcome. That's, you know, just continue to try to give yourself grace when you get upset. Because I'm not saying that we're ignoring the shadow or the emotion of disappointment, because those emotions are also important as well. But when you're working with the works, always lead from love, you know, you can't go wrong.
I will add, that's why the Tower card is there, Debbie.
Well, you know,
like,
well, Maria, really, I would say that when the tower was presented to me, and for many of us, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that had a tower. You know, I love my tower. I honor the tower, and I really do. I honor the tower. And I say this just because there was probably I was a hot mess before starting my mediumship, you know, before starting my psychic. All this openness that Maria talked about and getting hit with energy left and right and emotions. And I was like, it was a mess. And thank God I probably scared my friends. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to be a medium. I don't want to be like you. What's happening? ¿Qué está pasando? I was a mess. And I say that today because this work can be messy, because there's a process of understanding little by little. And so this is why it's so nice to just go slow. I would say go slow with the journey. What would you say, Maria?
I say go slow. And I also say, you know, find your tribe, find your people. Mm-hmm. And we're not perfect. Like you hear us telling our stories. And I was talking with Michael yesterday, Michael Christopher. We're not perfect. We're normal. We're just trying to figure this out too, just like you. We're just a couple of steps ahead because we've done more courses, more training, more something, but we're not better. And then there are other mediums that are even more steps ahead of me. Yeah. So honor where you're at. And just remember, I think like we're all equal. Nobody's better than nobody. No tool is better than nobody. And you will always help the people that you're meant to help.
Beautifully said, Maria. Debbie O says, I'm having a tower moment. We're sending you love, girl. Sending you love. So like, Maria, I'm grateful. I'm going to close up the podcast and just say thank you for being a guest on Inspire. I am so honored to have you here and share your story, your insight. I know we're going to go into mini readings, but before we go into mini readings, can you again let people know where they can find you, what you're offering, and how often you go live?
I'm back on live. So I go on live every Monday night. So you'll see me there. And me and Christopher are teaming up. So it's going to be lots of fun. And I'm going to try and do some more lives, but I'm definitely on here every Monday night. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Annette. My website is mariagonçalvesmedium.com. So I teach mediumship development circles, all levels. And the way that I do my mediumship development circles is right at the beginning is like, what are your questions? Because I think it's so important when we're all at different levels to be in a safe space, to be able to ask the questions. And yes, I do give answers, but I also ask the class, like, how do you feel about the question they just asked? Because I think it's so important to share as a collective. It's so important. And then I'm teaching the intuitive tarot course. I'm super excited about opening up abilities, and that I just get inspired from people that are like, I don't know if I'm intuitive. And just so you know, every single person that walks the earth, we all have that inner GPS, intuition, psychic, call it whatever you want, but it's yours, and trust it. And don't ever let anybody talk you out of it. So if you go over to my website, you'll find the book. I did come out with a new book, which is Tarot Card of the Day. So you know how, like, back then, I was like going to the dollar store getting all these different journals. So this is a 6-month journal for your tarot card. So you pick a tarot card, you go in, you tune in. What does it mean to you right now? Go about your day. And then at the end of the day, go back and reflect. And that helps you connect with the energies of the cards, with the images. And then what really happens that's really cool, I don't know if this happened to you, Debbie, but then as you go about your day, you don't have a deck and all of a sudden Spirit's like, and we have a tower card. And I see the picture. Or I see the Fool, and I was like, okay, new journey, what's coming up? But I start seeing pictures.
I was going to say that. Yes.
It opens up your clairvoyance to another level because now it has more pictures of reference to use with you.
Right. And so that goes back to your wheelhouse. And I love how you say that. Like, do you get there? One of my friends in here, Jesse, he's like, oh, they're showing me this card for you. And then they started doing that for me. And I love like when that happens is it becomes part of your readings. When you're reading them and you're just channeling the energies, they're giving you the actual card to say, this is what I see that's coming for them. So I love that you say that, Maria. And what's the collective message you want to leave everybody with today before we go into readings?
The collective message, when I think about it, is just, know you are loved. Know you are so loved. And just trust your heart. Wherever that leads you, and trust that inner GPS that you have. Trust your inner power. Because you guys don't realize how actually powerful you are. Once you trust it, guess what happens? You get more. You get more nudges. And it gets stronger and stronger. So it's not some woo-woo thing out there. It's within you to grow, to trust, to develop all by yourself. You don't need me. You just need to trust the nudges and they get stronger.
Maria, thank you for saying that. I think a lot of us need that reminder. Maria is a huge advocate for empowerment. And I really, really love that gentle reminder. All of you embody this ability. All of you embody this love that can be shared, not only for yourself, just being that loving person to your children, to your family, and how you hold them. That's all the energy shared. So continue on your day. Maria, why don't we take a 10-minute break? We'll come back, and this way you can get some more water, and then we'll come do some readings. Are you cool with that? So we can close up the podcast, and we'll come back and we'll answer some questions for you guys. So thank you so much for listening. This was a podcast today. I was trying something new and I wanted to roll it through TikTok. And so I want to cut it here so that the readings don't go on the live. So you guys will come back in. We'll give a 5-minute, 10-minute. How much time you need, Maria?
5 minutes is good.
5 minutes. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Come back. And thank you for following Maria. And thank you for holding space as we open up the love on.